What's going on, Sumolings? Thank you so much for joining us for another product walkthrough webinar. I am Lindsay, and today I am joined by the team over at Zeroqode Lab, a video course platform that teaches you how to build web apps without any tech skills or writing a single line of code. It is on AppSumo right now as a freebie, but before we dive in, I just want to tell y'all a few quick things. The first is that if you want to tell us a little bit about your use case, why you're interested in this tool, you can go ahead and do that over in the chat room. If you have any questions about the tool, the deal, how to get set up, go ahead and leave those questions in the Q&A box down below this video. We do have people on standby to answer them. We'll also circle back at the end of the walkthrough. And the last thing is that there will be a replay of this available. So if you need to step out, you just want to watch this later, you totally can. All right, that is enough of me. Hey, Vlad, how are you doing?
Hey, Lindsay, doing good. Thank you for the awesome intro. It's great to be here, and definitely it's awesome to be on AppSumo and to talk to you, Sumolings, and tell you about what we're up to. So as Lindsay has already kindly suggested, today is going to be all about building things without code. So I am the co-founder of Zeroqode Company, and today we're presenting you the product which is called Zeroqode Lab. So long story short, Zeroqode is a suite of everything you need to know and have to build stuff without code. Like literally anything you have in mind for a web application, a mobile application, or anything in between the two, you can use Zeroqode tools to do that. And to learn exactly how you would do that, you need to go to Zeroqode Lab. Zeroqode Lab is the collection of the courses, need-to-knows, know-hows, shortcuts, and tricks that will help you to build your idea from the ground up in no time and without any code. So how is that? Well, that's going to be exactly what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to be doing a small overview and intro of the product, as well as showing a bit of tips and tricks in terms of how you can actually get your hands on building your ideas without code, and using Zeroqode Lab to get you there much faster. Alrighty, so I'm going to be starting to share my screen, and let's get to it. Okay, so as I said, today is all about no code, and we're big believers, big fans of the idea, the mentality, and the possibilities that the no code tools are offering to you today already, and have been offering for quite some time actually. But 2020 has been a year for a lot of things, but this has definitely been a game changer year for no code. When everyone suddenly realized that they have more time on their hands that they can handle, and they have a long list of ideas that they wanted to get started with but never found the time, people suddenly remembered that there are tools like no code that will get them there, and they don't need to study for 6 months to 1 year and pay expensive fees to any coding schools. They can actually do a very, very decent job getting there and validating their ideas without any code. We've been doing no-code development and no-code tutoring and no-code coaching for almost 6 years now, and we have decided that at some point we have to, one of our pillars of our mission is basically to spread the word about no-code, and we do that like verbally, like speaking to you, building products, delivering projects. But one thing that definitely concentrates the idea about spreading the knowledge and sharing the word is Zeroqode Lab. Zeroqode Lab is our baby. It's our product that we invested a lot of our energy and the soul into. And essentially, this is a growing collection of no-code building manuals that get you from absolute zero to building like a proper application. But it is not limited to that. Zeroqode Lab actually has advanced tips and tricks for people who have been in this game for some time and are looking for something extra, or looking for some edge to what they have already been building, or they need a very specific advice to what they need to do to build a particular tool or a solution. So let's tell you exactly and show you exactly how this works. So you have the URL from the AppSumo already, and you have your code hopefully that you can use to redeem the freebie, and that is the 1-year MVP membership on the Zeroqode, and that gives you the access to a lot of good stuff. But let me pace myself. So Zeroqode Lab is all about how to build startups and products without code. So Zeroqode Lab is essentially a collection of tutorials, but we are different in the way that we heavily emphasize the speed and the hands-on practice, meaning that while a lot of tutorials out there are great tutorials, they give you a lot of valuable information, but it's not always clear of, whether you should be doing that after. Maybe you will need that at some time later in your career, or whatever, while you're building your idea. And Zeroqode Lab, all the courses and all the materials that we're giving are built in a way that you will be literally doing this from the first minute you're into the tutorial. That's the only right way to do it, and this is what we are actually showing you. We're sitting in there together with you, showing you the interface, showing you exactly where you should point and click to get things done. But let me actually show you instead of telling you in a moment. But then there are two types of people that come to Zeroqode Lab, and there are two ways to explore the things which you can benefit from. First type of people are people who are getting familiar with the concept of no code in general and are just curious about what it can do and whether it's a good fit for their particular idea, because it's a very legit question, let's say so. And for that, where you get started is with our courses directory. So you can either explore all the categories, select a particular category that is fitting to your current level of bubble knowledge, no code building knowledge, or if you're building something specific and you need advice about the component, you can explore each one of those categories. Some of them may make sense and some of them may not make a lot of sense to you from the get-go, but you're welcome to shop around. Or for the other type of people that are coming to Zeroqode Lab are people that are looking for something specific, meaning that, okay, I'm really looking for ideas to build an application that would be like Airbnb, but different in aspect A, B, and C. And we got both of you guys. So we got a lot of fundamental courses that will just basically give you a very good overview and the idea about where do you get started once you're ready for it. That is, for example, Bubble for Beginners, and a lot of other fundamental courses that walk you through the core concepts of what it is to build without code, as well as some specific courses which take you through exactly the steps you need to go through to build a particular tool, such as, for example, Airbnb. And that's actually my favorite one, so let me dive into that for a second. So let's say I'm looking specifically for something like Airbnb. What do you know? We have the Airbnb course right here, and once we click on it, we are actually able to check it out. So each course has a short description of where things are, who is this course for, what are the requirements, and what are you actually getting and learning by the end of it. So this particular one is for non-technical founders trying to build an MVP, people interested in building a marketplace application, and yada, yada, yada. You can read all that without me as well. But we're trying to make sure it's very, very clear in terms of who is the right audience for this course and what are you actually getting out of it. Airbnb is one of those ultimate courses that basically take you from 0 to 100 in the shortest available time. Airbnb course is probably the one that gives a lot of information about both fundamentals and advanced techniques. Basically, all you need to know to be to get started. So in here, you can see the short overview of the course, which is provided by Brent, in this case, the author of this course. And you can check out the videos. There's the core concepts that are being explained about what exactly is being taught, and some highlights about how this whole thing works are being given, so that you would know and understand what exactly this course is for to you. Then, of course, there's a curriculum over here, and there's a list of lessons. So all of the courses are split into lessons to, first of all, make it easier to digest concepts separately. And second, of course, to track your progress, because, everyone loves tracking. So in a good way, I mean. And it's great to track your progress in terms of how much did you actually complete, and what's still remaining for a particular course. So let's click on the first lesson to check it out. So while we're loading the lesson, there's obviously a lot more to it than the course itself, but we'll get to that in a second. So this starts from a video that explains, in this particular case, what is actually the whole no-code building with Bubble, and we're going to be talking about it in a second, is all about. And that walks you through the fundamentals, that shows you where do you actually get started. And the great thing about it is that you can actually get started right away. So this thing is working with you on your own speed, at your own pace, and you can always go back to it and ask more questions, both in here and in other places, which I'll be showing you in a second as well. So there's a whole community around it, both around Zeroqode product and Bubble in general, that is super welcoming and be super supportive for anyone on either any stage of their no-code building journey. Anyway, so the lessons is right here. So it just normal video. There's probably not a lot to explain. In here, the courses are all visual, and there's always an audio that explains exactly what's going on the screen and what do you need to know and what do you need to pay attention to grasp the most of it. As well as there's a course progress here that is displayed to show exactly where you are in terms of completion of the whole course. So I didn't get very far yet, but I'm on track to do it. As I mentioned in the beginning, Zeroqode is not only Zeroqode Lab, but Zeroqode is a lot of things. So there are a lot of supplemental information, courses, and templates that can also give you that extra edge for building like more stuff once you're into it and once you believe that this is something that fits your idea and purpose. For example, in here we have one related template, which is actually the Airbnb template that is part of our portfolio, something that we can use to once you're done with the course, to actually get you even a faster start for building your application out. But we'll get back to that later. The Zeroqode application, and let's get back to the courses for a second, and let's see what else do we have available for people with different ideas. So as I mentioned, there are courses for the beginners, which are basically in the Bubble fundamentals section. Those are usually simple courses, pretty short and sweet, that give you the overall idea about how things are and where do you get started if you have absolutely not a lot of ideas about where do you go from here. And there are some specific courses that are targeting specific ideas. We already checked Airbnb, but there's also a lot more. So you can use the tag search to filter out what are already the available ideas. Like, for example, if I want to build an Uber for something, or if I want to build LinkedIn for something, or I can search for specific things like payment that explains me how to exactly I connect the payment to my existing application without code and stuff. And of course, some of them are free, and you're welcome to play around with them. And the other ones are actually paid, but for Sumo links that are getting your coupon, they're going to be free for a year within your MVP subscription plan. And to continue the topic of support, asking questions, and more good stuff, Zeroqode has a large community of users, and even a larger one around it, the community of users of the Bubble application and tool. Specifically for Zeroqode Lab, any of our courses or any of our products, there is a Zeroqode forum, which is available for you. We have our awesome team that is helping you to currently answer your questions. That is monitoring and making sure all of your questions, suggestions, and ideas are getting addressed. And we're having a conversation to how to address your particular concern, or how do we improve with more ideas of how can we get better. As well as directly on the lab itself, there is a chat that you're welcome to use. Just pop a question, and someone friendly and nice from our team will help you to answer, to make sure you're not lost and you're getting the most out of the product. And just to give you a bit of a more info and a bit of a glimpse of how things are actually looking like and how would you normally be running through the course, let me give you an example of how this can look like based on the actual contents of Zeroqode Lab website. to get started, and then we'll also check out how would the template work and how do you apply the knowledge at the courses. So you can see the actual website of Zeroqode Lab, which we have been tinkering with for the last 10 minutes. It has a lot of elements, obviously, the courses, the actual landing page, the reviews, the contents, the progress bar, and all of that. That is all, by the way, also built without code, with exactly the same tool you're going to be learning as part of any of those courses and all of those courses, of course. So this is how the tool looks like. The tool deserves a separate session altogether. I can talk about it forever, and I'll try to make sure I won't go on a tangent here. But the tool is the super awesome no-code development platform, which we use for pretty much everything that we're building without code. It's called Bubble. Bubble is a no-code development platform for pretty much anything that hosts your stuff in a cloud. So that's basically a one-stop shop for getting your idea off the ground and hosting it, launching it, and doing pretty much anything you need to get started. So this is how the landing page of a Bubble application of a no-code application that we're teaching you guys to build looks like from the inside, from the editor. This is your playground, and this is where all the courses are going to be showing you how to get yourself around with. So just to give you an example, let's get back to the marketplace course. And by the way, if you started the course, you can continue from the place where you left to make sure you are consistent with your progress and making sure that you're getting the knowledge in the right order. So as you can see here, you're seeing exactly the same layout of the page and exactly the same elements which are around right now, even though since we have launched the platform, there have been a few UX tweaks, and some of the elements may look a little different from what the video shows. The overall concept is exactly the same, as you can tell. So there's a breakdown between the design, workflows, data, styles, plugins, settings, etc. That's exactly what you see in here. And those are the elements that you can put and work with on the page. And I'm trying to hold myself from getting down into more details about explaining you how Bubble works. And I would love to do that, but that probably will require a separate session. So all you need to know about Zeroqode Lab, and not to spoil it for you in advance, is that you're working and you're having access exactly to the same tools which you're seeing here on the course. And basically all you need to do to be successful with it is follow the tutor, stop whenever you're having a question, and either pop it to our support team, rewatch the video, join the community, ask your question, and then make sure you build and not just watch. So that's probably the only way to really do something, to really learn something. This is what we have built our platform for. Make sure you have a very practical example right in front of you that you can use to build stuff exactly as we're showing you, or take a detour and explore the other possibilities that come to your mind, and be our guest, be creative with whatever you do, and hopefully that gets you there in no time. And you will be amazed by what you will be able to build, do, and achieve without code, with a very, very short learning curve. And you didn't even know that you're actually a programmer, but every one of you Simulings actually are a programmer. You just we're not using the right tools up until this point to get yourself started. So as you can see, pretty much everything that you see on the screen nicely formatted in here, you can see as elements that you can double click, edit, very clearly understand in terms of what that is. How do you actually work with that? What does that say? What are the formatting rules? And what's the position on the canvas of that element and how it works with the other ones? So that doesn't require any specific coding knowledge. That is very easy and intuitive to understand. And it's very powerful in terms of that it's giving you actually ways and means to not only visually display this whole thing, but also to make it do stuff. For example, let's take our call to action button here, start building. What it does is that actually launches something that is called a workflow. In Bubble terms, a workflow is basically a sequence of actions. And what we do here is we tell exactly what we want to happen when a certain event is happening on the system. That is namely, when someone is clicking on that button, we want to go to either page sign up if you are not logged in, or we want to go to page courses if you are logged in. See, pretty simple and very intuitive. You just need to know basic English to understand what exactly is happening and what is it that you need to do to make it work differently. And last but not least, we are, as I mentioned before, always suggesting and making a link to some of the templates that we have available as part of the Zeroqode offering, and also very highly integrated into the Zeroqode Lab curriculum. So whenever a certain educational course has a very relevant template that is basically summarizing all the knowledge, all the learnings, and all the functionality that was explained as part of the course, we're usually suggesting that, okay, guys, you may also, if you love this course, or if you're onto that idea, there's something else that may help you give it, you may go even faster, or get some of the stuff that was explained on the course and look exactly how this was built. So there are few templates, few types of templates. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. Some of them are exactly as what you see in the course here. So this is a marketplace like Airbnb built course, and we have an Airbnb suggested template. Some of them will not be that directly related, but they will also be very similar in terms of functionality available. So, templates are another thing that are helping people to get familiar with no code, get faster in building stuff with no code, and you may also want to check it out. So the templates are basically a blueprint for an application that you can start as many times as you want, and that will give you a preset set of visuals, functionality, and a data structure. Basically, it will help you to launch your app in literally minutes of time. Our courses on Zeroqode Lab are giving you more information of how exactly you can do that, depending on your idea, depending on your current level of familiarity with where you are on your no-code building journey. And yeah, all you need to do is a little bit of enthusiasm to get yourself very far on that journey. Last but not least, Zeroqode Lab is not a static product. There's a lot of stuff in the pipeline that we're planning to add to it. So people who are checking out the courses on the platform and seeing something that they like, or maybe seeing something or not seeing something else that they will be really interested in, bear with us. Bubble, the tool that we're using to build our whole no-code stuff, is currently in the process of redesigning and redefining a few important components of how this editor, first of all, looks visually, and how good and how fast this whole system works. So there's going to be a lot of good stuff coming in the coming months, and we're basically waiting for that to happen, to add more courses, to add more information, to add more awesome ideas and tutorials based on what you guys may find useful and may find valuable on your startup journey. So there will be more things coming in very soon. Besides that, we're also hosting a few non-educational but very powerful, let's say, and informational courses, such as, for instance, a replay of our Zeroqode conference that has happened a few months ago. And we had almost 2,000 people from the whole over the world attending. And this is also one of the good things that you may use for both getting more information about the available tools, the ways to get going faster, as well as just getting inspiration about what you can actually build with no code, that and more things that you didn't even realize that were already possible and very much real. And last but not least, Zeroqode Lab is also home to a few other systems, and we're getting more and more of that traction besides Bubble, that are just exploring the full spectrum of what's available without code, with no limitations, as long as it's valuable and useful to our community. We're also up to whatever guys you're interested in. So this is a living and breathing organism. We're working daily to make sure it's more interesting and suitable for pretty much all the different levels of people with different interests, different niches, and different steps and positions on their no-code building journey. Anyways, that's a wrap. If I go any further, I'll probably be very very into the idea. As you can tell, I can probably talk about this forever, but I'll be happy to explore more concepts as to what you guys are really interested in. So I'm hoping that either Lindsay or my team will help me to put a few more questions that I can go to more specifically and explain what's good about this and maybe something else that I didn't yet touch.
Yeah, I've got a couple questions here, a couple big questions, so you can broad questions, so you can kind of jump in and tell us as much as you want.
Awesome.
The first is Sumolings love to know about roadmaps. So can you tell us a little bit about what you're looking forward to that's coming up for Zeroqode?
Right. For Zeroqode, I mean, that's a very long story. Specifically about Zeroqode Lab, we're actually looking forward to add quite a few more courses here, as well as to redo and adapt the some of the most popular, most useful ones that we have to the new things that are coming in for Bubble in 2021. That is, as I mentioned, first of all, a redesigned editor. It's going to be very big, and that's going to be addressing a lot of suggestions and great ideas that they were drawn from the community in terms of how to improve the overall user experience, how to make it more intuitive, et cetera, et cetera. And we're definitely going to be addressing that in the contents of our courses, as well as we're always on the lookout, and we're currently talking to a few more platforms which have great resources, great platforms, and great tools that would also be like, would like to be a part of Zeroqode Lab community to provide the value that they are delivering to people building their stuff without code, as well as we're always looking to explore. Thank you for that question. I actually totally forgot that there's also a special set of deals that is available for all the ZQ Lab clients, and this is something that we're currently working on very actively to expand. So there's a lot of exclusive deals available for people who are part of ZQ Lab user base, and that is namely the access to Join Secret. Join Secret is a platform which summarizes the exclusive deals and benefits and discounts for a ton of useful software on the internet. So definitely worth checking out, being part of Zeroqode Lab community, as well as a 20% discount on all of our templates. So anything you see in our catalog, regardless of the price, being a part of Zeroqode Lab, you actually get a 20% off discount, as well as there's a 20% off for Bubble subscription for 2 months if you're joining from Zeroqode Lab. So one of the things that is part of our roadmap is expanding that list to bring even more things which are not only just great and but also very useful for people on their no-code building journey. That's to sum it up.
Awesome. And then the second and last question here, unless any others come in, is how do y'all compare to your competitors? What makes you stand apart in your teaching?
Right, thank you. Well, first of all, there's a lot of things, but to give you the big things first, Zeroqode Lab has been the first no-code educational platform that has been around for almost 4 years, I believe. And one of the benefits to that is we have been able to accumulate a lot of different courses and a lot of knowledge from the instructors all over the world. So most of the other educational platforms, specifically in our niche, are usually run by one team of very talented people that have, obviously a lot of experience to share with. But we have been actually managed to summarize an experience of a number of talented people, including ourselves, but also superstars of Bubble and no-code development overall, such as Brent Summers, John Keegan, and other names which are very prominent in some of those no-code building communities, and much more. So we believe that we have managed to find ways to combine the more knowledge and more experience and more point of views in terms of how exactly would you get started, get to more advanced portions of it than any other platform out there. So we believe that this is very valuable for our end users to get a lot of different aspects and different perspectives in terms of what they're trying to build.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And that's going to be a wrap for today. So Sumolings, if you have not already, you can go ahead and get your freebie for Zeroqode Lab right now on AppSumo. Go ahead, play around with this, and start creating some stuff. Once you've done, we always want to see what you've created, but you can also let us know how it's going in the reviews and leave us any more questions that you might have on the deal page. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Sumolings. See you all soon.
Have a good one.